Greetings and welcome to episode 27 of the Weekly Review, the weekly podcast for Words About Games, where we sit down and tell you about the games that we have been playing, or game that we have been playing. Because let's be real, this is an Among Us stream. That's neither of those things. This is a Monster Hunter podcast. Mine's backwards. I still haven't figured out how to turn my camera background.
Bubble.
Yeah, my plastic box is over there somewhere, but I've got this sweet ass steelbook from Amazon. I can't believe it took me nearly a day where I put the tweet out where I was like playing Monster Hunter while I wait for the Resident Evil showcase, and like picture of the splash screen for Resident Evil and me playing Monster Hunter on the Switch. And I can't believe it took me a day to put two and two together and be like, this might as well have been a fucking Capcom ad.
A Capcom appreciation tweet.
Yeah,
basically,
just like, yeah. And then Pat Red called me a shill. And I was like, I wish they're not going to afford a new chair. Like,
That's true. That is true.
If you want to hit me up, Capcom, I think I made this joke like literally on Friday's podcast, but I'll do it again. Like, hit me up.
You did.
Hit me up. I have a price, and it is not high.
A new chair, basically. That's what she said.
A new chair. I'm sure I can think
maybe
of a
two
couple,
codes for Resident Evil Village.
Couple
you
of
know,
things. Yeah, like give me some PS5 codes. Like, you got any like sweet Monster Hunter DLC or something you can throw my way? That'd be cool because I'm obsessed with this game. But we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
I was about to segue into the intro, like you know how we do on the podcast.
Yeah.
This is the Words About Games podcast. There is no segue.
There's no intro.
There's no intro. I did the intro.
No.
I am your host, Amy K. Alexander, joined this week by Daffyd Moody.
I've returned, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back.
Guess who's back?
Back again.
Moody's back. And I'm going to kill him in Among Us a bunch of times. We'll talk. We'll save that for the end if we decide to talk about it on the podcast. But there is one hell of a YouTube video coming.
Yes, I'm back and I've returned to talk about a video game which we both played, Amy. It's we've been talking about it. We've had this for a while. Like we flipped a coin basically, and we went, what do we want to play first? Do we want to play this one or we play Outriders?
Well, yeah. First it was like we're gonna play Monster Hunter. And I was like, cool, because I like World was like a top 5 game for me in 20 whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like the day or 2 days before, and I was like, I wasn't feeling it. So I messaged you. I said, do you want to play Outriders instead? Yeah, cool. We did it. I'm glad we got it out of the way. Like, because we played Outriders, we both, we had a good time with it, but we talked about it last week. Neither one of us is particularly feeling it to go back to it. But what happened then was, like, I got Outriders done. I was done with Outriders. I didn't finish the game. And then I was like looking, like, imagine, I had this, because I didn't have this at the time because I rented it. But I was like, I looked at it and I was like, yeah, now is the time. Like, I'm actually really in the mood for it. And I booted it up on, I don't know, like Monday. I think it was either Monday or Tuesday, and fell straight into it. And I was like, I was so ready for this. At the point when I played it. I was hoping to get my controller retrospective out this week.
Yeah.
Legitimately, if it doesn't happen, it's because of Monster Hunter. Because I was like, I'm going to get a couple of chapters done on Thursday night. Didn't happen, played Monster Hunter. I'll get a couple of chapters done on Friday night. Didn't happen, played Monster Hunter. I'm going to get I'll get a chapter done after the Among Us stream on Saturday night. Didn't happen. Played Monster. Well, actually, I watched the stream back. Would have been cool if I'd done playing. Yeah. Tonight, entirely feasible. Instead of editing a chapter of my controller retrospective, I'll play Monster Hunter. and this might continue for a while. So
that's the power of a game that has hooked us. Like I did the stupid thing yesterday of the part of that because obviously you and me we've said on many occasions we rent our games and everything like that because it's cheap and everything like that. But if we love a game so much, we will fork out the money eventually to give it so the developer and everything gets what they deserve and everything. We
and
did
also
that
because we'd have to send it back eventually.
with that as well. I did the stupid thing of posting the game back, then ordering it. So all day yesterday, I had an itch like crazy to play this game, and I realized I just put it in a giant red box waiting to be collected, and I can't do anything about it. So like this just arrived 2 hours ago for me, and obviously we're preparing to do all these other things and after this and other things are going on. I haven't got around to get back into it, but I have an itch to just like get into it right now.
So
and it's like
you're telling me two things here. One, I'm definitely playing Monster Hunter after we finish this podcast.
Probably, yeah.
Two, there's footage of you somewhere in out there of like trying to crowbar open a postbox.
Possibly. I don't know what happened yesterday. I can't remember.
Just like, God
it was
damn
such
it.
a blur.
You just put it. You just put it.
What did I do?
Tell you what, you didn't do. Yeah. I just like envisioned you just dropped it in and then you walk away, like, and then like 20 seconds later you run back to the post box, like, no, what did I
do? Yeah. This game is brilliant. It's brilliant. It really is. It's as good as what everyone says it is. I loved World. Really enjoyed it, and should have got back. We should have got into this one straight away. I feel
it was like a weird one where
hindsight is a good thing afterwards. It's obviously, but like now thinking about it, I'm just thinking we should have started because this came out before Outriders technically. So I was thinking, oh, we could have had 3 weeks of this, 4 weeks of this already, and we could have been like screaming to the highs and everything for it. But no,
we waited to the right moment. I think. At least for me personally, anyway.
I think you're right. Yeah, at the same time, like because we both weren't. Like as I said on the last episode, I wasn't clicking with Outriders, and that's why I hadn't played it ever since. And I said I probably was not going to be going back to it.
And then I came in the next week, and I was like, yeah, I said the same.
Yeah, like I already know the story for Outriders for people who I've spoken to and listened to and everything like that. Everyone's like, the story sucks. So, and I'm realizing in my life now is that I need more than just one element to a game. Like, I need. If you say you're going to give me a story in a game, you need to give me a story where I'm going to be caring about it. Yes, it does depend on the game because obviously, like, I play the F1 game yearly. There's no story to that whatsoever.
There will be this year. To flick.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's gonna be monstrously insane, but I love it. Football Manager, there's no story.
You create your own stories in those games.
Yeah, but there's no story.
Yeah.
No proper story for me to get fully invested into. Like compared to like say The Last of Us Part 2 last year, that enthralled me and everything and sucked me right into it. This is a game I think right now is a bit of two halves. It's like the gameplay and just the challenge and excitement of chopping down one of those monsters with friends or without. It's absolutely incredible, and they keep with the same mechanics basically from the world that it's whatever style you want. Like we were playing it and we were like, okay, I'm going to try and figure out what my style is. Amy already knew her style from World.
I did try other styles.
You did. You said that yourself, and then he just went.
I just went okay.
You just went back to what you loved, and now we figured out what seems like my style, which I'm really enjoying right now.
Yeah.
I'm
so
loving it.
We'll break it down in depth. As the kids don't say that. I don't know why I was going to say the kids.
I don't think kids know what in depth is.
I don't think kids know what in depth is. Like
they go straight down to the number and that's it.
They see a YouTube video that's an hour and 10 minutes long about Blood Bowl and they're like, too long. make it 30 seconds. And I'm like, can't make it 30. That's impossible.
It's basically 30 seconds these days because obviously they TikTok. The
TikTok,
TikToks are
right?
like
If you're
30
gonna
seconds.
make it into a TikTok, it's like I'm not gonna make it into a TikTok.
Your
I
TikTok with buy this game. There.
buy TikTok. Like I'll just imagine if I just took like 2-second frames throughout that video and just made it into a 1-minute video. That'd probably be a good. I could probably make a good video out of that, but I'm not gonna. That's way too much effort for basically nothing. Yeah, no, like I was thinking about this the other day when because I've played like 20+ hours of Monster Hunter Rise. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but again, I only started like less than a week ago. And I was thinking about it the other day, like
What did I have?
how funny it was, like how funny it is that like a game, like live service games, right? Like I always say, I'm trying to find that live service game, right? Like there's one
Yeah.
out there that I can just sink time into and just like play whenever I want to play it and stuff. But like literally just played one, and it's like cool, like 6 hours, 7 hours, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I've
Yeah.
got everything I need out of it. And then it's like Monster Hunter, which is like it's designed to be played for a long time and it's designed to be repeated and etc. But it's not explicitly designed as a live service game. Like live service games are designed to play for like 7 billion years. And it's like, but Monster Hunter is the one. I'm like, I'm obsessed with this game. I'm obsessed with it. It's the first thing I wrote down. I am obsessed in my shitty Sherlock notebook.
This feels like how it was for Apex for me last year. Like I was having an itch for it. Like we were always texting each other, making plans to possibly even do it. Yo, like so randomly, Apex, and you just said, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to do this article. I can just play it.
Especially when it was locked down. It was like, well, what else am I going to do?
That's true.
Play
yeah.
Apex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Like I do miss Apex, but I haven't had the itch for it. Like
I will high. I won't lie. Like, but
I wonder if it just ran its course.
Possibly.
But we do play a lot of multiplayer games these days.
Yeah.
Just different ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Monster Hunter Rise has got me. I'd say it's probably only a very small handful of games. Like it's got me in a way that only a very small handful of games have got me. But like I'm thinking,
does it got you how World did? Has it got you like World?
It does, yeah. And like to go back to your point about like we should have played World. We should have. I was in a very weird headspace in 2018, with a bunch of stuff going on and like lots of pressure, both internally and externally when it came to like video games, where it was like I didn't feel like I could stick with a game. Like if you took me back from my mindset now to back to 2018 when Monster Hunter World came out, me and you would probably have about 500 hours in that game.
Probably, yeah.
Because I don't have those pressures anymore. It's great.
I was sort of, yeah. This is how freaky this game has been for me, ladies and gentlemen. Like it's like I've just said, I bought it. It's here. It's here. I was really right now on Steam. Capcom have a sale on, and Monster Hunter World is like under a tenner. I was really contemplating it.
I might get my PC's not. Oh, it's not great though. Note itself.
Can't go back to that game because I think I'll disservice this game, so it's best to stay with this for now.
To be honest,
but I was like, really
we'll get into it. Like, there's reasons why I think I would play Rise more than World if I had both of them side by side. But we'll get into it. Should we start the deepest of deep dives?
Try.
It's my new obsession, Moody. Deep dives, right? Like, fucking 5-7 minute long. Nah, not for me anymore. 70-minute Bloodborne? Yeah, let's do that instead. That's much more work. Cool. Like, yeah, we're only like 10 minutes in, whatever. Yeah. So like the first thing I wrote down is that I'm obsessed with it. It's like that's my high level sort of impression of the game. Like there are issues with the game, like, and there are things that annoy me about the game, and I will talk about them because this is a review, and that's what we do, and that didn't mean that to rhyme,
but
not this time. But like despite all of that, like it's like I love the game and will play it constantly. Like when I'm like, I want to play a video game, I'll play Monster Hunter. Like I just said, I want to edit a video, but my Switch is right there. What were we doing again? Oh yeah, we were doing a podcast.
What
Yeah,
day
so
is
like,
this?
just I can hear the game, Amy. I can hear the game, Amy. So a big part of what I love about Monster Hunter Rise, what I love about Monster Hunter in general, is the weapons, the weapon variety. Because, like, with most of the games, you have weapons, and like Outriders last week, I feel like we're gonna make a lot of Outriders comparisons just because it's like a recent game that we played. That is kind of sort of trying to do the same sort of things. Like, you get all these different weapons, shotguns, assault rifles, pistols, whatever. And it's like they don't really feel all that different from each other, right? Like you're never really that excited to switch from an assault rifle to a shotgun in Outriders. But in Monster Hunter, it's just like all of the weapons are so different.
Yeah.
Like it's like there's different classes, and you can switch between those classes at will. And you get so many resources to upgrade that you can legitimately like keep yourself topped up on like 3 or 4 weapons easily without having to go out of your way too far. Because like I've got 2 different weapon types. Like we played with the bow gun. I was playing with when we played together, but I could switch to dual blades like that and be fine.
So
Actually,
what have you got? So everyone, have you got a dual blade and you're leveling that up?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
whenever you're ready, you'll switch if you need it.
Yeah, like if I feel like it, it's like it's not even like if I need to do it because the magic trick of Monster Hunter Rise is like everything is balanced. Like in any other game that offers like a bunch of different types of weapons that you can play as, there's a tier list, right?
Yeah.
These are the weapons that are the best weapons, and these are the weapons that aren't very good. And in Monster Hunter Rise, it's literally just like, here are all of the weapon differences. Pick the one that suits your playstyle. And it
Basically.
doesn't matter. Like when you're crafting, like going down crafting trees and stuff, there are weapons that are better than other weapons, obviously. But like, I use the light bow gun, you use the sword and shield. Like, I'm not doing better than you, and you're not doing better than me. And like, when our friend Amy starts playing, like, if whatever weapon she picks, like for the sake of argument, let's say the greatsword, like she's not going to be doing any worse than us because she's using a greatsword. That's just the weapon that fits the style of play that she wants.
Yeah.
And that's magic. Like, that goes beyond game design. It's exceptional game design. It feels like Wizards did this.
That's why I think when like compare it to what you're saying, like with Outriders, I'll throw in like the other games of service games, Destinies, the Anthems, and like the Divisions and everything like that. When it comes to the guns or weapons and everything like that, they're all the same. But yeah, they all feel the same. They all don't feel special. You don't find your unique style in it. For this, you find your style, and it could surprise the heck out of you. Like you said when you played Monster Hunter World, I know it's a different game, but they're basically the same games. Just because of how combat
The
system, I mean,
framework.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it's that you tried every gun, your weapon, and you landed on these 2. That was just like, this is Amy, this is me, this is me in a game. If I was this in real life, this is the weapons I would pick probably. This is my style. And that's the same for me. Like that, like when we played, we was figuring out what my style was, and
Yeah.
we figured it out
Well,
within the second.
the
Yeah,
second
yeah,
hunt, yeah. So you
yeah,
tried out the switch axe. You were liking it, but not loving it.
yeah.
We had a quick look on some guides, and he said you read the thing for sword and shield, and you're like, that sounds interesting. And you tried it, and then like you could hear, I could hear it when we were playing because we were playing on Discord, and I could hear you just being like, "This is the one." Like I could
Like
hear
yeah,
it in your voice.
yeah,
But like yeah, when you're talking about play styles, like just to jump onto that point, the in other game class based games, like you're not finding your play style. What happens is your play style is dictated to you by the class that you choose.
yeah.
And that's part of the wizardry of Monster Hunter. There's 14 classes, 14 different weapons in Monster Hunter Rise, and you can switch between them at will. If something's not clicking with you, you just fucking pick a different one. Give that a go. Like you did. Like I did. I tried some different ones when we first started playing just to see if there was anything else out there for me.
Yeah.
There wasn't. I mean, there was stuff I enjoyed, but I lined it back on my old faithfuls. And maybe if we play 100 hours of it, I might try something else. But like, that's the difference, and that's what makes this game accessible and really compelling. Like the accessibility part is going to come up in a few when we touch on a few different topics. But it's in terms of the weapons. Fox has said something really interesting. I mean, when we were recording the podcast last week, because I don't think this made it into the episode because I think we were talking about Monster Hunter before I hit record. Um, but when I recommended the game to everybody in 2018, Monster Hunter World, like he didn't like it, like at the time. But what I'd said, I guess I'd said it in my review, was that like you just have to find your weapon. And Fox has literally said to me on Thursday when we were recording, or before we were recording, that's what happened to him. He got it on PC. He found his weapon, and now he fucking loves it. And he plays shitloads of it on PC because he
Yeah, he
found
does.
his weapon.
Yeah.
And like, if you're even like tangentially interested in third-person action games, like you can find your weapon in this game and have a great time. But if you just like stubbornly pick the one you think you're gonna like, but then you don't like it, you won't find it. Like you won't have a good time. But if you maybe pick up the hammer or the bow or the longsword, suddenly you might find that actually this game is great.
Yeah.
It's what happens to everybody. That's the Monster Hunter litmus test.
It
Happens to
basically
everyone.
is, yeah. You find your style, you are there, and you will get this game.
It
And
clicks.
that's all you want. And that's all you want, ladies and gentlemen.
Whereas, like, you spend 20, 30 minutes at the beginning of Outriders, like, agonizing over your class choice because you can't change it. So you got to try and figure out, before you've even really played the game, what play style is going to suit you. Which, like, a lot of games do that. I'm not just bagging on Outriders for it, but it's kind of backwards when you think about it. It's like, how am I supposed to know which one of these classes is for me?
Yeah, they force you to replay it 4 times.
Yeah, it's like if I make a
Figure
mistake,
out your style.
if I make a mistake and I'm 5 hours in, and like I gotta restart, but then I've still got the choice, and it's like, well, okay, you've got to do theory crafting. In Monster Hunter, you just start. You've got all the weapons, and you go, cool, pick this one. But okay, that wasn't for me. No worries. Like you can get 5, 10, 20, 50 hours into Monster Hunter Rise, and if you decide that actually, you know what, I'm not feeling this heavy pogo, and I'm gonna do some melee. Like let me check out this insect glaive. And there's even a feature in the game. You go into the upgrade tree and you push a button, and it rolls back the upgrades, and you get all of the resources that you've invested into that weapon back, and then you can just apply them to a different weapon. And if that isn't one of the greatest pieces of game design in 2021, I will be shocked.
It is, but I'll say right now, it is. Basically, it is.
Like,
That's all you want. That's all it is. You want it to make it fun and accessible and not feel like you're wasting the player's time. And they don't
yeah,
waste your time with this. This is
because
a. Go
you
on.
gone. No, you go.
No, I was going to say, like we've harped on many occasions about grinding games and everything, like open world games and everything. And basically, it's like we landed on the thing of that grind. The big companies are doing the grind wrong. They're catering to a backwards grind. Basically, here it's more progressive when it comes to your grind. It helps you. It doesn't. It holds your hand, I think, a little bit, just because of the part like what you just said there. But it's in a plus way. It's just like it's not gonna make you feel like, oh, for God's sakes, I have to now restart this just so I can try and figure out a new style. No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And that makes me go 9 times out. Okay, if this was the same as Outriders, I'd be like, take it back. I would have returned my copy by now, and
No
everything.
Steelbook edition.
Yeah,
For
something
us.
like that. Yeah,
No, it's like games like and this I think this is a wider thing. I either want to make a essay for or we should do a discussion for at some point. Like to like really unpack these ideas because I have a lot of thoughts on these ideas. But like games that are designed to, I think this feels familiar. I think I've talked about this before when we were talking about Anthem. Like games that are designed with to put things in your way, right? To
Yeah.
like, okay, you want to play a different class, cool. Now you're gonna do it all again, like that kind of thing. Like inevitably, I bounce off of them. But like, if I put 50 hours into Monster Hunter Rise and start to use a different weapon, the game is designed to allow me to do that in a really easy way. So yeah, I'll be fine putting another 50 hours into the game with a different weapon because like the game is inviting. It just feels accessible. Like not in the Discord-y way, you know, not in the Dark Souls should have an easy mode way, just like in the way where it's like it wants you to play it. And some of the design decisions that go into like proper live service games make me feel like you don't actually want me to play this. Like you want me
You
to
just want me to
invest money
buy
in it.
the yeah.
Like, but at the same time, like if Monster Hunter Rise, if they said Monster Pack 1, £10.99, £15, gets you all this stuff, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, I would have bought it by now.
Like, here you go.
Yeah.
Like I did it with Apex, right? It was
Yeah,
like
we
this
did,
game
yeah.
is inviting me in, as opposed to like putting obstacles in my way. So I
Yeah.
will give you money
Yeah.
because I want more things for it.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Like, and that's part of the formula that makes Monster Hunter Rise specifically and Monster Hunter in general just such a great obsession because like if I should stop, but if I just do this one more hunt I could get some more bits to make a new hat. And you know how I feel about my hats, Moody.
You like
That
your
game
hats.
we played that game and I was like, look at this hat,
Yeah.
it's great. So what else have I got written down here? I like the combat gameplay, and it's difficult to talk comprehensively about the combat gameplay because if me and Moody are playing different games, more or less, like you're going in there with your shield and being like whop, 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 dong, and I'm standing back like with all my different ammo types. So like we're gonna, and sometimes it's gonna feel like we're both talking about different experiences, but no, this is the same game again. This feels like it was made by wizards. But like, is it just me or is it impossible to not feel like a total badass every time you go on a hunt?
I feel like when I'm hitting something, I am hitting it.
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm hurting something, I am hurting it. It sounds wrong when I'm saying that. I am hurting something.
Harder,
It's
Daddy.
good, pleasurable.
Harder,
No, it's
Daddy.
yeah.
But yeah, right? Like I feel like every time I go on a hunt, and like, you know, when I go on a hunt on big creatures, like when I'm just running around collecting mushrooms or like killing like the smaller like creatures, like you don't feel like a badass when you do that. But like when you go on a hunt against any large monster, like I always feel like, yeah, this is a fight, right? I'm fucking in it. Like this is a fight to the death. One of us isn't walking away from this. Like, and it just feels so great. And it's helped by a few things, like the switch skills, which I don't think you've unlocked yet.
No, I don't think I have that.
But like you've seen mine, my like main
yeah.
switch skill where it's like I just fucking jump over the top and like drop fucking bombs on things.
Basically, yeah.
And it's just like, come on, man. Like novelty's not wearing off anytime soon on that one. Like
I can
it's
believe
just
that,
not. It's
yeah.
just fucking great. Like, and there's other stuff you can unlock where it's like you can change, like the face button stuff you can do. Like for me, it's dodge. Like I can dodge. Like I can change the dodge, into. I change the dodge into like it's like a sidestep. I don't roll as far, but I can use it. It's like a faster recovery time, so I can use it a lot more, which is useful for someone who's trying to stay
As far
at
as
a
we
distance.
can.
At a distance, except when I use spread ammo, where it's like it's shotgun time, bitch. But like, that's what's so cool. It's like I've got the light bow gun, and it's like you'll see it in because there's so much footage of me using the light bow gun, and it's like you'll just see me constantly flicking the ammo around and being like, okay, cool. Now I'm gonna use slice ammo. Now I'm gonna use the spreader. Like you know what I mean? It's just like constantly like being on top of what ammo I've got and what ammo I want to use and like what would be best to use right now. And like I don't know, like for me it's just so cool. And I know that's like not helpful as a review term, but it just is. Like, and it feels it at all times. I feel like such a fucking warrior when I play this game.
Yeah, and I do as well. Like, it's just delightful. It is delightful. It really is. The gameplay and combat is just so good. It's simple. It's easy to grasp, and it just gets you there, and it does what it needs to do and everything.
Yeah,
Um, and you can't ask for much more for that.
like there's a lot of convoluted systems and complex systems
Yeah,
surrounding it, but like once you're in it, once you get in that in whichever wherever you are, whichever biome you're in, and the monster's over there, let's go fucking kill it. Like it's simple, right? Like there's
true.
the weapon upgrades and the armor upgrades and like some of the other stuff around it we'll talk about later is pretty complicated. But that's just the simplest thing there is, and like
Yeah,
everything about feeling cool and feeling like a badass is amplified when playing with other people.
yeah,
Like when me and Mood, like, because when me and you sat down to play this together, I already had like 15 hours behind me of like playing it by myself. And
yeah,
like, it's somehow like, I'm already sitting there thinking, this is my game of the year so far. And then it somehow feels better when we're hunting and we're hunting together. And then you amplify that again when you're fighting a monster and another monster just runs in.
Oh yeah, that's just like it's like I've watched Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus Kong, and it's basically that, ladies and gentlemen. It's just like literally seeing two titans running at each other, and it's just like let them
Let's
fight.
let them fight. But then you just jump in as well, and like the whole thing becomes just this battle royale. Like
Yeah,
we had moments when we were playing together, like the moment where we were fighting the chicken bird dude. I don't know any other names yet, and and from out of nowhere, I even made the out of nowhere wrestling joke. Just this, another monster just fucking bulldozed me from behind.
yeah.
Like we
It was
didn't
the
see it
badger,
coming.
wasn't it? A
Yeah, the
giant
big
badger.
badger thing. And then like we were fighting one, and then another one turned up, and then they fought for a bit, and we fought, and then the original one left, and we were like, well, let's try and like break some parts off of this one, and then the
Yeah,
third one that was on the map just fucking landed,
and it was just like, oh god.
and it's like there's it's a type of feeling. Like it's just a deep enjoyment, but it's a type of feeling that I haven't felt in a game this year. Like I've really enjoyed some games this year, as anyone who watches or listens to these podcasts religiously knows. Like I've been on a really great run of games so far, like for like a month or two now. But like there's just a feeling that you get with this game where it's just like everything feels epic. Everything feels like a story you could tell around a hypothetical water cooler. Like we'll be talking about it like constantly, just like, hey, remember that time we were doing this, and then this happened? Remember that time like we fucking just melted that one monster,
Yeah, it's
and then it came back, and then it saw that we were there, and the other monster was there, and it literally turned around and went, "Nah, I'm not having that." Like,
yeah, yeah. Basically, like it's like peace out, peace out.
nah,
I'm
nah,
just
nah,
gonna
nah.
step back and I'm gonna go somewhere else and everything. I choose life. That
I
monster there
choose to
chose
live.
life. Yeah, he chose life, which is brilliant. It's just like going into like to the part like for myself, like listening. You know, if you listen to us, you know, I'm just obviously studying to become a developer and everything, and now looking at it, I'm just like, wow, so much complex mechanics they've thrown into this that all need to work together. It's amazing what they've done, and they've done a really, really good job here. And I take my cap off to the
Yeah,
developers for
like
this. They've done an incredible job.
when you jump into a biome, because like you start off in like there'll be a monster in a biome, but once you get to a certain point, like there are multiple monsters wandering a biome. Even if you're there to specifically hunt Badger Guy, like them, there'll be like one or two or three other monsters, as well as all of the smaller creatures, the wildlife. and like it feels like a world. It doesn't feel like you're just jumping into a video game biome. Like it feels like you're jumping into a world where it's alive and it's happening, whether you're there or not. Like when you leave at the end, like it'll genuinely feel like everything else is still going to continue on. Like when there are multiple monsters around the world, they obviously are interacting with each other, like outside of your vision, because like we've come across it where it's like there's parts of a monster here. Like we haven't fought this monster here,
Yeah.
but here's some parts. Oh, I guess like two monsters just got into it and just beat the shit out of each other
Yep.
while we weren't looking.
They were
Like
just like, "You're looking at me.
they
Are
were
you
just
looking
like
at
they
me?"
were just like me and you playing Among Us.
Pretty much, yeah.
Um, but there is one subtle difference.
Basically.
There is a subtle difference that I noticed between Rise and World, and probably Rise and any other Monster Hunter game, which is like you do feel powerful right from the very beginning, like once you start. Whereas like Monster Hunter World was my first Monster Hunter, and I know that game from talking to fans of the series and people who have played Monster Hunter games before that. That game was like a more accessible game for casual players than had come before. Monster Hunter was quite a hardcore series before World, but like when you pick up World and play it for a while, you're just kind of hanging in there, and the monsters are pretty tough, and you're trying to get your feet right.
Yeah.
Basically, in Monster Hunter Rise, you're immediately powerful, but you don't lose that sense of like these fights are fights. Like you like the thing I said before, you're in a fight, right?
Yeah.
Like, but you feel like a badass. Like you feel strong. You feel powerful. You feel like you can just go toe to toe with this big chicken-looking motherfucker.
But is that because you got the experience from World though?
It might
Because you
be.
said yourself World was the more accessible. I agree to yourself. I was like, oh wow, I'm hearing this game's actually not only great when World was out, but it's just like people who've never played it before said this is really accessible. You might want to give it a try, and I was in it and everything. So I think it might be because you've got the experience from World.
It's potentially a combination of that. I do think it's not just that because this is an RPG with damage numbers, right? Like you
Yeah.
can only do so much damage, right? Like with a starting weapon, and it just feel like I'm chasing monsters. Like, or sorry, it did at the beginning. It doesn't so much now. It did feel at the beginning like I was chasing monsters down less. That could also be because of the village quests, because essentially you got two tracks, right? You got the village hub, and you got the village quest, and you got the hub quests. And the hub quests are designed around the multiplayer. The village quests are strictly single player, and they're
Yeah.
both on two different tracks. So like when I'm playing the game and no one's around to play it with me, I'll play the village stuff. When Moody or somebody else is available, cool, we'll play the hub stuff together. And the hub stuff is designed to be longer, unless you're total badasses like me and Moody. It'll take all that long. But I think that might be a part of it because the village monsters don't have as much health. They just don't. Like you can tell, like between fighting one, like fighting the same monster, like the Tetran turtle guy, the Tetranodon or something. I don't know, big turtle fucker. We fought one together in a hub quest, and I like literally the last thing I had done before we played together was fight one in the village quest, and it's like it doesn't take as much damage in
Yeah.
village. But this is probably the most accessible Monster Hunter has been. It for me it feels more accessible than World, and then from there I'm using anecdotal evidence of people telling me that World was more accessible. I feel like Monster Hunter Rise is more accessible.
I will agree. I do think Rise is more accessible to World because of, I'll say right now, because you get a badass dog, ladies and gentlemen, in this game. And it makes it just so much easier to get around in because you can ride that said dog to get to your destination a lot faster. I agree with that. Like you say, it's just making it. It's not wasting your time. The game doesn't waste your time.
Yeah,
It gets you to where you need to go as fast as it wants it to, so you can do the main thing that this game wants you to do. That is go one toe to toe with badass monsters.
yeah. They put it in the title of the game, right?
Hunt monsters.
But like it's other stuff as well. Like in Monster Hunter World, you use scout like when a monster got away, because that's how the fights. It's one of the things I love about Monster Hunter. It's like you don't just bash into each other until the monster's dead. It's like no, like if you fuck on the monster up, it's gonna do one, and then you have to track it down again. And like I thought this was a change I was gonna hate because I loved the scout flies in Monster Hunter World. You have to use the
Yeah,
scout flies to track the monster, and you see like the path it took, and you use like the smell and the footprints and whatnot. And whereas in Rise, they're just on the map because you have this owl guy like
yeah,
flying around, and it can just see everything. So you can at all times like look at the mini map and see where all of the big monsters are. And I thought I was going to hate that, but actually I love it. Like I love the thought of just like it's getting away, which is like a voice line the character says when it's getting away, and you just jump on your dog and you just fucking blitzing after it. Like, and I don't know, like I love that, and that is more accessible. Like
yeah,
it is much simpler to just go, cool, I want to fuck this monster's entire life up.
yeah.
Like,
It makes it even more better because, like, say you get given a timer to get this thing killed or capture it or whatever way you want to do it, and so and as always, after you've beaten it down to a certain amount, it'll always run away. So depending on where that thing goes, because of how your character isn't the fastest, I'll say this: he isn't the fastest or anything like that. He or she isn't the fastest, and you need to get to that bit back to it just to get back to killing it as fast as you can, because obviously timer will run out eventually. And because of the dogs and everything, it just makes it a lot easier to do the thing the title wants you to do.
yeah,
So
and it
I love
makes
it.
it makes hunting multiple monsters like much easier as well, right? Like if you go off to hunt Badger Man, Badger thing, right? But you
Yeah.
see that there's a chicken dude in the level, and it's like, well, actually, like I need stuff from the chicken dude, like as well.
Hmm.
Like, so if we just kill the chicken dude first, and then we go deal with Badger thing. Let's talk about crafting for a bit, because you like it's the thing that keeps you going, right?
Yes.
Like, I want a weapon, and then how do I get that weapon? And then you research all of the different steps. Now, the fact that you have to research a lot of different steps, because when I was talking before about the things around the gameplay can be very complex. Like the crafting is the big thing that is hugely complicated,
Yeah.
and can be incredibly overwhelming. Like once it starts opening up, and you don't really know what some of this stuff does yet because still trying to get to grips with it, and it's like guides, use guides. That's what I did.
Yeah. I've got a
Um,
guide to be. I'm looking. I'm like going back through all of it, and I'm just like, thank you, God.
yeah, it's just like you like for you, because we talked about like an upgrade path, like the upgrade paths for the sword and shield, and we were like we're not trying to play to any meta, so it was just like, cool, what sounds great? And it's like, well, I want you want a sword that does like fire, so it was like, cool, let's have a look for a fucking bitch in fire sword. And for me, it was like, I want to base my strategy around a specific type of ammo. So what
Yeah.
guns do I need to do that? Because it's very deep as well as being complicated. Where it's just like, for me and mine, because I think that's the best thing for me to focus on is just talk about my weapon. Um, like different weapons can use different types of ammo, but also have different effects on it. So like when I upgrade from the gun I'm using at the moment to another gun, it'll change the way that I approach a fight and how I use
Yeah.
the ammo that I'm using. Because right now the gun that I'm using has rapid fire and normal ammo, so I use a lot of normal ammo because I can fire off a lot of rounds very quickly.
Yeah.
Um, and then it changes what ammo types I can move and shoot with. So like there'll be
Hmm.
certain ammo types I can move and shoot, and there's certain ammo types where I can't move when I shoot them, or like I can't move when I'm reloading them. So I have to like be mindful of it. But because you're constantly getting into these fights, like I've kind of just learned it. Like so now it's like, because there's icons next to all of the different ammo that tell me like whether I can move and shoot, what has rapid fire. But because you stick with weapons a bit after the first couple, it's like, cool, like I've internalized it, so I don't need to think, I don't need to look at at the ammo types or think about it. It's like, cool, I am using X ammo, therefore I can do this and this and this, and this is how I should approach this fight right now. And then I've switched ammo. That means I have to be more cautious because I can't move and shoot at the same time. Like I have to pick my moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm already like I've already agreed. Like Sword and Shield's the one I'm going for. We're looking to get me up to like a poison one because that's the strategy in general that I mostly go for in most games. Like when I play Pokemon, I always have a poison character, poison ability to be able to slow my villains down or my opponents down and everything. I always do that, and it's just my strategy. I really like that.
Plus, the weapon that we're looking at has got a bitchin' name. It's the Princess Rapier.
Like, yeah, I've just seen another poison one for Sword and Shield. I was thinking, well, that looks like it'll hurt.
Make both. Like
that's the thing about it. Yeah, but I'm also like thinking like you have a choice like between you found your style with the blow and dual blade. I'm thinking I need to think of maybe look into another weapon as well and say, okay, what kind of I don't want them both to be poisonous, so I need to find a better strategy. So what of ability do I want? And that's the thing about it. You're always thinking in a good, positive way, and that's the great thing about it.
Yeah, it's like with my weapon upgrades, it's like there are 20 plus different types of ammo, right? And it's like there are ammo types that I can't even use right now. Like paralysis ammo sounds fucking great, and it's like I can't use it, like because it doesn't go in my gun. And so that's like 20 different potential sort of focuses, like 20 plus different potential sort of focuses. But like there's more than just like what element do you want on a melee weapon, right? Like in terms of like the dual blades or the sword and shield, like you can have weapons that are really good at cutting monster parts off. You can have weapons that have ridiculous durability. Like you can have there's all sorts of different things to focus on, and I just think that's really cool. It's like
it is.
It's just like, yeah, like what, like for me, it's like, again, it's like I don't want to play to any meta. I just want to play to have fun. And I was like, what ammo do I love using? Well, if I do the switch skill where I somersault over the top of an enemy and embed a weapon thing in its head, like I have to shoot that to make it explode.
Yeah.
And I can do it like 4 times. And it's like, well, I can either try and be really precise and actually hit the monster in the head, but if I just use spread ammo, like or shrapnel ammo and do like hit it 6 times with one shot, like yeah, the damage isn't that much, but the shrapnel ammo will always find the wyvern round in its head, and then all the numbers go up and it explodes and it screams, and I'm just like laughing like a maniac, and I'm like, yeah, this is probably what I want to focus on. So then it's like, well, looking at the guide and going, right, what's good for shrapnel ammo? Like,
what works?
Is there anything that can make the shrapnel ammo rapid fire? Or would that be too OP? But honestly, like the more I think about Monster Hunter Rise and the way it works, I don't know if too OP is in this game's vocabulary. Like, I don't think the game is ever going to be like, nah, that's too much, mate. Like, you're doing too much damage here.
Probably, I don't know. Like, I don't like. This is how much I'm loving this game. Liz. I'll say right now. Like, obviously, like if you listen to the audio version, you won't be seeing what I'm doing or anything like that, because obviously I've got 2 screens, so I'm always looking away and everything, but I'm always listening to Amy and everything. But right now, like I'm on Amazon right now, I mean, I'm looking at Switch Pro controller, Monster Hunter Rise Edition. I'm just like, it's a sexy looking controller.
It is. It is.
But it's out of stock.
Boo.
Yeah,
we'll
boo
get
them,
you
boo
this
them.
controller, really. It's a good controller.
Yeah, well, I might just get the Pro one in general, because that's 50 quid. That's not bad. It's only like 60, 70 quid, but continue.
No, yeah. So like I love the crafting side of it. Like if you've watched my Bloodborne retrospective, you'll also know that I like fashion souls, or I guess fashion. So
yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
So like like the idea of just like creating like cool outfits. And yeah, they have stats associated with them. It's not like Bloodborne where what you wear doesn't really matter all that much. In Monster Hunter it does, because they come with skills and you can upgrade stuff and unlock different skills and have synergies if you're wearing sets, stuff like that. Like, but also like just the idea of creating like really cool outfits out of the monsters that we kill. Like, it just appeals to me a great deal. Both in terms of making my character more powerful, but also in terms of just being like, I want my character to look cool.
That's fair.
And I can do that. Like, you saw my hats. I was like, I love this hat. And then I found a better hat. And I was like, I can buy that. Look, Moody, look, I'm wearing a cowboy hat.
I can do this.
But I don't know if there's anything else like you want to deep dive into, because now I'm down to the parts where I've just wrote like other cool stuff and then not so great stuff. And it's like quick fire stuff.
I'm not in it as much as you or anything like that compared to like you've played more of it and everything compared to me right now. I've I've loved what I've enjoyed so far, and it is teetering, ladies and gentlemen. I'll say this right now: it is teetering onto like what Amy says was my game of the year. Not there yet. I think I need a couple of more hours and just like do the things that be able to do the things that Amy's is doing. Obviously, you've got certain perk systems, haven't you? Say for
Yeah,
like
like,
you able to jump over, like you said,
upgrading further into the weapons tier, doing the switch skills, and
when I get full deep dive into this, I think I'm gonna be like, oh my god. Like, what's college again? Like, yeah, oh yeah, work. Oh yeah, yeah, teacher. Yeah. I'm doing the work. Yeah,
podcast moving, podcast.
and everything like that. Yeah, it will be just. I mean, what might be one day where me and him are playing so much. It's like, were we meant to do something today? It wasn't Among Us Saturdays. Oh shit!
Oh no,
that would be funny.
I've got 50 messages.
Everybody
thinks I'm dead.
Wait, why's no one message for me?
Everybody would message for you too. Really. You're an integral part of Among Us Saturdays.
Yeah, because I'm easy to kill.
And not just because of one of the current narratives that's running through Among Us Saturdays.
That is true. But no, yeah. So for that part, no, for me, like I'm like on the parts like you do your like what you say. You got one more final thing you want to say, what you really enjoy, and then the negative.
It's quick fire stuff, and you can jump in with stuff.
I'll say this: I love the cat.
Yeah, sure. Like Meowcenaries, awesome. Like other cool stuff. I wrote Meowcenaries at first. Like when you wandered off into that other part of the map, and you were like, "Where the hell am I? What is all this stuff?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it. You'll find out." It's like it's the Meowcenary area where it's like you can hire a bunch of different pets and send them off on quests to kill monsters and get stuff for you.
Before we get fully into it, what do you think I called my cat?
I don't know. What did you
call? Come on, you come on, you know this already.
John Cena. That's a joke only you're gonna get because nobody played Monster Hunter Rise except me.
That's true, yeah. I called it Katra.
Ah, of course you did.
My favorite She-Ra character. So
nice. What did you call your dog? I can't remember.
Bobby. After the old dog who passed away a couple of years ago.
That's a nice tribute. Mm-hmm. I feel bad for sarcastically calling mine Fluffy now. Let's not thought put into that.
Fluffy's a good name though.
Especially when you're screaming at it to like come in. Fluffy, come here, you bastard.
I won't lie, but like when there was parts, it's like, Bobby, come here. It literally felt like it was just like, well, that's literally what I was doing in real life with the dog. So I'm just like, it's not changed. It's really, she's pissing me off even now. God damn it. What have I done? But no, yeah. I'm loving this game. So
yeah. What else have we got? Other cool stuff. Food. I like the food system. Not just for the cool cutscene that plays where the cats make the food, which I watch more than I probably should, given that I've already seen it dozens of times. But but like I like the way the food system works, where it's like you pick what you want to strengthen yourself in, right? Like.
Yeah.
And then there's percentage activation chances, and you can use tickets to increase those for like badass ones, where it's like, oh, I should probably not die here. Like,
perhaps.
And the other thing I've got and other cool stuff is there's the optional sub objectives. I think are really cool, where it's just like, so on top of like the main quests and any side quests that you pick up, you also get the optional sub objectives where you can have 5 active at any time, and it's things like pick up 8 plants, or like kill the 10 small monsters, or hunt 1 large monster. And it's just like, it's things that you're doing already, and you get armor. That's how you get your armor upgrades. And because it's things you're doing already, it means that you get armor spheres. like at quite a decent pace, and I appreciate that because like there's nothing worse than being restrictive with like an upgrade currency, so that I feel anxious about committing to upgrading something. Whereas it's like in this game, because the armor spheres are so numerous and are coming at me so quickly, like I feel like I can just go, yeah, I'll upgrade this thing that I'm wearing right now, even though I know for a fact that I'm gonna replace it at some point. So I appreciate that and the way
Yeah,
that system's set up. Yeah, go on.
that's what's like. I think going back to like just in general to like Outriders and games of services in general, everything all seems the same when it comes to outfits and guns or weapons. Should I say? This is respect to the artists who have drawn these, not only for for your armor, for your weapons, but for the bloody animals and monsters and everything. They are exceptional. Like there's a monster that we fought that literally looks like it's a combination between a platypus, a crocodile, and a turtle, and it works so brilliantly, and it was exceptional. I was just like, oh my god, and there's more monsters, and we haven't even delved. We aren't fully into this game yet, and I
We
can
haven't
only
even got to the
imagine
end
what
game.
more, what else have we got to fight here that is gonna just we're just gonna look at it thinking, oh my god. All right, now time to kill it. This looks so pretty, but now I have to
Now
kill
I have to kill it.
it. Type of thing. It's like the
That's fair.
artistry
Yeah,
is incredible.
that's fair. I didn't actually write that down, but I should have. Also, like the music is pretty good. I've had the village theme on a loop in my head for like a week now. Because that's a thing that happens to me. Like if I hear a song enough and it's pretty good, it's like the YouTube video I accidentally opened before we started recording. It just plays.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And it's just
Soundtrack's
like
good.
I could hear it right now, like in my head, like I could.
Yeah, soundtrack's really nice. You got the parts where it's nice and lull, it's just relaxing, but then when it gets into the battles, it's just like you're like, yes,
Yeah, right. It's like you're in a like it's like I said before. It's like you're in a fight. Like
yeah,
you are in a fight for your life right now. So the not so great stuff, because I said I would touch on some of it. The number one we both agree. I think we can both agree on is the multiplayer user experience is fucking
yeah.
atrocious.
Yeah. Trying to figure out what to do to try and sort out doing a match to do the online hub was a pain in the backside. So much of the pain in the backside that I tweeted out literally 20 minutes afterwards before we got into our first actual fight. It was a pain, and it was. This is the thing about it. It was the same for Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World's online was atrocious to try and get into to team up with friends and everything. And eventually, when you got into doing it, it's incredible. You have an amazing time killing, fighting, doing all and exploring. But then, and then you go back to doing all this thing. It's where it is literally. It is a bit. That's the grindiest part about this game, which is a pain in the ass. Just trying to set up a
Trying to get
team.
into a game with a friend.
Yeah, it is a literal. It's like trying to climb up. It's like trying to watch Frodo climb up Mount Mordor many times. He still didn't make it.
Oh,
Probably.
Sam, I carry him.
Mhm.
Fetch quests are also on my not so great list. Like they're just dull and nothing particularly spectacular happens during them. Like
Yeah.
there's a few of them where it's like go fetch me some eggs. Great, I guess. Okay, yeah. And then you go and you get them, and then it's like, congratulations, this quest complete. And it's like, okay, fine,
That's
I
just typical
suppose.
fetch quests or in any game. I think no game really does them very well. They just try to just to add in a certain element
The
and
Witcher
probably
2
just
did them very well because it did one, and it was a scathing admonishment of fetch quests.
yeah, the
um,
Witcher games are probably the only one who's probably done it
so
properly.
like I appreciated the one fetch quest in The Witcher 2 because it was really funny and had a funny payoff. But yeah, it's fucking dull. Like to go around and be like, I need some plants, and then you're like, okay, I'll go and get the plants, And it's like I had one where no big monsters spawned in the map, so I just ran around the map for 5 minutes getting these plants, and then the game was like, "Congrats, sending you back to the village." And I was like, "That did I need to do that? Could
Did
there
I
have
actually
been
need to do
something
that?
better here?" Like,
That is true. That is true.
um, the last thing I've got on my not so great list. Well, actually, I talked about how like the complexity can sometimes work against the game. Is another one which I didn't actually write down. I didn't. I touched on it briefly when we were talking about the go find a guide to do weapons and armor and stuff. But it's like it can work against it a bit. Like it is
Yeah.
overwhelming at first,
Yeah.
and if you don't go and seek out like guides and help and tips, I can imagine you just being like, I'm so lost. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah. One thing for me that I think that was detriment for me was handheld doesn't work well for me. I have to have it attached to a dock and playing it on a bigger screen for me, just in general. It's just it didn't work. I was struggling to know where to go, fighting and everything, just because of the size of the screen and everything. So for me, I needed that bigger screen. I need a monitor size, what I always play on, and everything like that. For me, so that for some people that might be a detriment. For other people, like I say, like I know you've mostly been handheld, I believe.
Yeah, I've played a lot of handheld.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. Like,
I play handhelds, like I say, like I like I used to have the DS and played the Pokemons all the time. It was fine, and other games on it as well. I've had no problem with it, but this one, I don't know if it's because it's so much going on, and my brain's just not computing with it. I need a bigger screen to have a bigger wide view for myself. I
that's
don't
fair.
know. I think it might
Like,
be
yeah,
that,
that's
but
fair.
yeah,
Overloaded tutorials is the last thing I've got written down because it throws a lot at you right at the beginning,
yeah,
and I
it
forgot
does.
most of it. And
Yeah,
as people may know, this is a pet peeve of mine with like tutorials that just throw button combos at you like they're going out of business, and it's like I'm not gonna remember all this.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. That I think is just Japanese development in general.
I think you're
For
right.
me,
I
I
think you're
think
right.
that basically is for what I noticed and everything. That's why I think I never really fully like when I tried Persona 5 when it came out, like because I heard it, I think it's Persona 5. Persona 4 was great. Persona 5 is getting so many great reviews. Played it and I was just like, oh shit, this is throwing a lot at me at once, and I think that just sucked me out of it. Especially when I'm hearing all these great things, I'm thinking that you can do all these things and whatnot, and so it just sucked it out of me. And Monster Hunter World did the same thing. Thankfully, though, at the time I was with friends and everything like that. And I'm playing with you and everything. So for this as well, if I was playing this by myself and didn't like getting overloaded with someone for some information, like I don't sometimes, like I don't in general,
Yeah.
it can you're out of it.
So
But
so
thankfully, it has. Yeah,
so what you're telling me is when the pandemic is over, I can get you to enjoy Persona 5 if I just sit next to you and point at things on the screen. I think you genuinely would like love Persona 5. Like, and if that's your obstacle, like then cool, I can help you with that. Like,
I think when you and me are in our own place together, I think we're going to help each other so much when it comes to games in general. Where we're all gonna, I think both of us are gonna have a new appreciating of certain games that we may not have liked at the beginning or something like that. And I think that's what's going to help. And I think we're going to help each other with that, which is going to be a fantastic experience because, like, I want to
okay.
enjoy these games, and I will promise never ever, especially if we're in the same vicinity, to ever bring up Halo again
No, yeah, okay.
because you'd be
Like,
able to hit me
when
this
I'm in
time.
arm's reach, no one else.
I'm keeping it. I'm never gonna say it. I'm gonna be afraid to. But no, yeah,
Um,
this
yeah.
it's back to Monster Hunter. I'm loving it, ladies and gentlemen. It's
I bought it, right? Like,
yeah, I
what more do
bought
you?
it. That's
I
the thing
bought it.
about
Like,
it. Yeah,
it's my job to. It's my not to convince you. It's my job to tell you why you should or should not buy a game.
yeah,
And I bought it. I bought it.
mhm,
I rent games.
mhm.
I get games for codes. Like, I generally don't buy AAA games. I just
Yeah.
don't. I buy indie games like all the time, sure, but like I don't. I haven't bought a AAA game for a
Is you're
while.
thinking and
For a
struggling now?
while.
You're struggling. Yeah,
Or at least like a new one. Like Obviously, like I buy old ones to do retrospectives of when they're on sale and stuff like that. But like, I can't think
Yeah.
of the last new AAA game I bought. The Last of Us Part 2, Black Friday. But even then, it wasn't full price, and I was buying it because eventually I'm going to get around to doing that retrospective. Um, so that probably doesn't count. I don't
Yeah.
remember the last time I bought a brand new AAA game, but I do. Final Fantasy VII Remake. It just came to me.
Yeah, I've just
I
thought of
bought
it. When
that.
you said final, I was thinking Final Fantasy.
Final
We
Fantasy
both
VII
said we
Remake.
bought the same thing there. I mean.
Yeah, that was the last one I bought. So like, it's been a year, and I
Well,
bought
off the top
Monster
of
Hunter
my head,
Rise.
the last one for me is probably The Last of Us Part 2.
It's pretty cool. It was the Final Fantasy, and I bought Dreams before that because I couldn't rent it, and I needed it in my life. I need to get back to that actually. There's a lot of cool stuff on there that I want to check out. I
You
keep
can
checking
do an
the
eye test on going to Banner Castle, I've been told.
yeah.
It's never going to get old, that.
No,
It's
it's
never
never
going to
gonna
get
get
old.
old. Yeah, no, like I keep checking out the hashtag on Twitter, and it's just like the things people are making in there, and I'm just like, fucking Jesus.
Well, I won't lie. I think I figured out what the title of this one should be. It should be just this: why you should buy this game, because it's great, ladies and gentlemen. Just get it.
You should
It
buy Monster
deserves your
Hunter
money.
Rise.
Yeah, you should
Yeah, okay.
buy Monster Hunter Rise. It is an incredible game. It deserves all the love it's getting, and yeah, you'll. I don't think you'll get problem. When I'm seeing a lot of people like trying to force themselves to play a lot of the big online games and everything, I'm just like, oh god, man, you're missing out on a thing on Monster Hunter Rise. You really are. No, it's only on one system. That's the only true detriment here. Really, it's on one system. Compared to what World was. It was on Xbox, it was on PC, it was on PlayStation 4, then eventually came to PC, and I think hopefully Rise will go to maybe many other systems.
2022, it's going to PC in a year. So
Yeah, so but I'll also be very surprised if we don't hear something about a Monster Hunter World 2.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't see Rise going to the other consoles. I think
Yeah.
they'll just get another either World 2 or something else like Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I think this is a Switch exclusive. I just think they'll bring it to PC because of course you would. But I think PS5 and Xbox will get
Their own
something
one,
else.
which will have its own exclusivity to PlayStation.
I mean, yeah. It's like you just get different Monster Hunters for like different consoles, like, but they all come to PC. I think that's the best place to end the Monster Hunter Rise discussion. You just titled the podcast, which is great because now I don't know. I was just going to call it Monster Hunter Rise review, so that's probably better. I'm very uncreative when it comes to titling review episodes. Do you want to talk about last night?
Do we have to?
I mean, no, we don't have to. We can just
go check out the highlights on twitch.tv, words about games, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to say that. Just do that. Yeah, just do that. I think that's the best thing to do. While you're there, hit that follow button. Hit the subscribe button as well for the YouTube.
So we'll say that when I did you dirty last week, I wasn't sorry. I was having a lot of fun.
I know you weren't sorry at all.
But last night, after everything was done, I do feel it. I do feel like I'm sorry for what happened last night.
Amy murdered me a lot, ladies and gentlemen, last night.
But it's the backstory, right? It's like we talked about it in the last weekly review. It's just the whole thing of I put a hit out on you with everybody you were playing with because I wasn't there, and then all week it was. And to be fair, I was also expecting the revenge all week, and the game delivered in a different way. Where it kept making me imposter, and I mean, in that moment, or those moments, I only had one option.
Oh god!
I feel a little bad. about making your life hell.
Really? I think after you've done the video, you're gonna be like, "Nah, I don't feel that.
Once I
This is
put the
too
video
funny.
out and it's amazing, I'll be like, I take it back. Like,
I take it all back. I take it all back." Yeah,
I'm waiting for
it's
part 3 where the game just goes, karma's a bitch.
that's the thing about it. Karma's been a bitch against me the last 2 weeks for Among Us. I've only been imposter twice out of those 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Twice. Amy wasn't even on last week's and got me murdered many times. This week, she got imposter 6, 7 times.
It was a lot.
And 3 of those occasions, she was with my arch nemesis Ryan, which just made it worse.
I don't think it would have been as epic if 3 of those times hadn't been in the first 4 matches.
That's true, yeah. And
I
I literally live on twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that follow button. Had a meltdown on both.
within the first 35 minutes of the stream, I'd killed him 3 times.
Yeah. I was quoting Klingon, the whole shebang, yeah.
And he never managed to get... He never managed to get his revenge for the previous week, never mind what followed. The one time he got the chance, it was snatched from him by his imposter buddy. I did feel bad about that. If I just
my anger.
If I just avoided you, like, that would have been fine and I wouldn't have felt bad. It was the fact that I got trapped in a room when you were trying to kill me, and I knew you were trying to kill me, and the other person killed me, and I was like, okay, I feel a bit bad for Moody for that one.
Yeah. I took all my anger out on my next kill. Poor Lanius. Just running across.
Punched his head clean.
But no, it is.
It's all in good fun. It's all in good fun.
It's all in good jest, fun, and excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, the latest highlights, the Twitch highlights is out there where you've got games from Among Us, Dead Space 2, It Takes Two. Not Dead Space 2, Dead Space. It Takes Two, and
Fights in Tight Spaces.
Fights in Tight Spaces, which is some incredible. There's some clips from out of there. You got. I think I reinvented Let It Go. I think I made it even better. It just flowed really well, and I honored Hudson from Aliens. It was really nice. I died stupidly on a few occasions, though.
You did? I killed you in Among Us?
But the greatest honor is the soundtrack that I got put on for myself. I won't spoil it.
Yeah, you got a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
You created a great moment. I just followed up on it.
Yeah. The thing is, though, now you can use that soundtrack for yourself for the next
Yeah, I know. I've got because I said to you last night, we'll talk about this and then we'll wrap the podcast up. I said this to you last night, like, I've already got, like, I'm waiting to see what happens next week. Because I feel like, depending on how next week's Among Us stream goes, like, that could provide the perfect ending to, like, this video. But I do have the video mapped out in my head. Like, I can already see how it's going to go with, like, what music goes here, which part, like, what Moody said here goes here, you know what I mean? Like, the video is constructed in my head. It's just waiting for that ending. Because I don't think, well, one, I don't think it's over, obviously. And two, I don't think the most satisfying ending to it is, and then Amy killed Moody a bunch of times. Stop, he's already dead, like,
yeah, something like that, yeah.
Which I might I think I might use that meme in the video.
It might be good, that one, yeah.
And then I'll put that bit in after the musical montage, and then I'll put the one more for glory bit in after the stop, he's already dead.
One more time.
Like, I'm so glad we made the decision for you to stream it, because getting your reactions to what happened was just the perfect decision. But like, if we could have had my reactions just to us going one more for glory, and then you going one more for glory, and then literally just went imposter. And if we could have just got my reaction to getting imposter for the very last match, like that's the only one I feel like we were missing. But
Oh bless.
I was cackling.
I can believe that. I really can. I really can believe that.
It's going to do it for episode 27 of the weekly review. An entire episode dedicated to Monster Hunter Rise and a little bit of Among Us because we play that every week. I have downloaded a Switch game that I am very much looking forward to trying out. It's basically single player Among Us with a story and everything. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. I might try out. I've got like a big list of backlog games I might try out, but between actually trying to be a responsible YouTuber and finish a video and that I've been working on for like a month, and Monster Hunter Rise, we'll see if I actually play a second game on top of all of that. I actually have time this week. Like last week and the week before, like my time was very limited, whereas this week it's not. So I could do a lot more. But yeah, I don't know how to pronounce the game. I need to look it up before next week's episode. That's the only reason I'm not naming it.
Just in case you get it completely wrong.
Just in case I get it completely wrong. I don't know if the G is silent or
The
not.
G's never silent, Amy.
Like GNOME. That's gonna do it. Let's get the hell out of here. I have a feeling I know what Mooney's about to ask me. Say bye, Mooney.
Hi, everybody.